All right, we are live, and the New York Mets are 5-0 in series to start the season. How sweet it is to say those words right there. The Mets are like the most consistently good thing in my life right now. Everything like when I'm losing my mind in the chaos of life, I have kids starting spring sports. I have a kid who bit the ice cream cone. As I was licking the ice cream cone, he bit the cone. We were sharing a cone because every parent knows you don't give your 4-year-old an entire ice cream cone. That's just basically a death sentence to yourself. AJ took a bite out of the side of the cone. I'm like, what are you doing, dude, you maniac? So there's a lot of things that are crazy in my life right now. And the New York Mets are the one thing that allows me to chill. So shout out to the Mets. But for when the Mets are not on, I need some stuff to kind of just help me relax, help me chill out during all the craziness of life. And that's when I reach for the Coors Lights in the fridge. Those are the AJ section of the fridge now. It's either the bullpen during the games or AJ when the games are not on. I go for the bluest mountains I can find, pop it open, drink it down, tastes so good. Cold filtered, cold lagered, literally made to chill, and it just kind of just helps me chill out from the top to the bottom. So when I need a second for myself, I reach for the beer that's made to chill. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Drizzly or Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/believe. Again, that's CoorsLight.com/believe. Help the people at Coors Light out. Help your favorite Mets podcast out. Support the boys. Support everybody. It's a beautiful thing. We got Barstool the Ballpark coming up this weekend. We'll be drinking some Coors Light. We got some watch parties planned out. Breaking news: watch parties planned out for when the Mets are on the road. We're going to do some stuff in the city. And I don't know if we'll go to different bars or whatever, but that's down the road. Shout out Coors Light for making this all possible. Boys, you got to love when the team is so good. I have to kind of tweak the read a little bit because it's like, the only people that complain about this team on a consistent basis are Frank the Tank and like 30% of the Mets Twitter community, where I realize Frank is not alone. If Frank really dives into that Mets community, it's like a sleeper cell. He can find some like recruits in that thing. But
the season's going good when Frank's actually deleting tweets.
Yeah.
He's deleting tweets?
I tweeted it out, Clem. I was Frank fact-checking him on Diaz. He's like, here's the start of the 18-game losing streak, and then Diaz shuts the door, and I tweeted out, and next thing I know, it's deleted the next morning. I said, oh, that's a slippery slope, you son of a bitch.
Wow, the Frank is right. The Frank was right. People are going to be looking real bad when he's deleting. Like, you delete a tweet because of a typo. We've all done it. I've done it a million times. Something problematic, whatever. That's not a good look. All right, so we're not bringing.
We're winning the war.
yeah, exactly. So we're winning the war. We're putting all the negativity into the fucking toilet, flushing it down. It's been, we're staying positive here. I forgot that when you sent the rundown, Kyle. I forgot. I was the only one. It was me, Pavs, and then we had a bunch of callers called in. Shout out to everyone who called after the Cookie Carrasco start. That feels like a lifetime ago. It was only like a half a week ago. We beat the Giants, win the series. That was our fourth series win. Give me the cookie meter. We'll start with Meek because I don't know where Meek's going. We have the macadamia nut cookie on.
Okay, no, I'm still those soft cookies that I'd get in like the high school cafeteria that were just perfect chocolate chips. So that's where I'm at with Cookie right now. He's that good.
Fair enough. Kyle.
I'm going to go Tate's with the side of milk. So you don't know what you're going to get because he's still not – obviously he's pitching phenomenally, but it's still that you're holding your breath through the first two innings. You're like, what cookie are we ultimately going to get? And we haven't seen the bad communion wafer Carrasco at all yet this season, which, like, the fact that he went out and did that against the Giants of all teams, that's a big stamp of approval in my book where I'm like, okay, maybe he'll have a few off days, but if he stays healthy and can throw like that, like, this is the dude we thought we were getting when we originally signed him.
Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, again, I think I said I was black and white cookies right now. I think he can still get to the rainbow. I still think we have another level where he keeps this up and he just keeps dealing because 18 batters retired in a row was incredible. And again, I'm just realizing people that don't watch the YouTube, you didn't even see the YouTube. So you have to get on the YouTube if you guys want to watch it because we're not going to have everything on the podcast. Some stuff we're going to have YouTube exclusive just kind of right after the game just due to, like, I think, having like issues with technological shit and sales. I don't know what's going on. Long story short, it's Barstool. What are you going to do? But Kyle, you said it. A guy who, when we got him from Cleveland and then we signed him, we weren't sure what guy we're going to get. That was also the game where Francisco Lindor officially buried the Lindorks. He had the home run to start the game, 3 for 5, 2 runs, a ribeye steak. Currently batting .308 for the season. Francisco Lindor is good. And here we go. The new face of the Francisco Lindor is good movement. Kevin Clancy has joined the pod, who was taking up. Dude, I had flashbacks of the old Barstool. It was you, Fights, and Big Cat fighting people in the comments. I haven't seen that combination. Like, sometimes you and Dan will go at someone, sometimes you and Fights. The three, it was like watching DX reunite on my timeline.
I said it was like Captain Planet of Petty. Yo, listen, before you say anything on the internet, just recognize that Barstool Sports or someone else who has been on this on Al Gore's internet has done it before you. The Zach Wilson is good kid thinking that he invented that is one of the more like outlandish Gen X, we like run the world things I've ever seen in my life. Like, I mean, we've done blank is good for like 5 different. As a matter of fact, I feel like we overdid it. I feel like that should have been something that we like kept a little tighter and only for Feidelberg or only for extreme cases, because that was hilarious. And I actually want to recast my vote. Somebody, I can't remember who did it. Somebody last week posted who's the most annoying Twitter, Mets Twitter, Jets Twitter, Knicks Twitter. And I said Mets Twitter, obviously, right? And after experiencing that Zach Wilson is good thing, I don't know, man. Jets Twitter, they are fucking awful. I mean, they were ready to, they thought it was like this crusade to take up arms for the Zach Wilson is good kid. It's like I said, listen, just thank Feidelberg and be happy for whatever money you got, because he's the only reason you have your business enterprise in the first place. But Francisco Lindor absolutely deserves the is good treatment. Because if you look back, like Tuukka Rask was like the best goalie in the league, and Feidelberg was needing to like fight that war. David Price had his woes, but ended up being like a playoff World Series hero, and Feidelberg needed to defend him. For Francisco Lindor, the way he's looking right now, it's going to be unfathomable that anybody ever bailed on this dude. I don't know what I would do if I was one of those guys. If I had bailed on him, I don't know what I would do right now. I would feel so fucking stupid. And if I was a blogger or a radio host or just on Twitter a lot, on social media a lot, and I was one of those guys thumping that drum last year, I would feel so remarkably stupid. I would never put my face out there again, because you bailed on a guy who's right now is looking like a fucking MVP type. It's not that he's good. He's fucking awesome right now. He's one of the best hitters in the league, leading one of the best teams in the league at shortstop with Gold Glove defense. It's like crazy.
I said it yesterday. I was like, he's addicted to getting clutch hits. Like every time the runner on second, he'll get it in now. It's unbelievable.
It's. I understand that people, if you weren't watching in Cleveland and you didn't know anything about him previously, your only experience with Lindor was, a really cold couple months, but. Come on, guys. Like,
they literally punted on him after 2 months. It's not like he had that entire streak the entire season. He actually turned it on in a big way because his numbers were like manageable by the time the season ended. So he had to like dig himself out of a huge thing.
He ended up hitting 20 bombs. When was the last time we had a shortstop hitting like 20 bombs? I mean, like the fact that it ended up being not so bad, it was just so cold. When it was cold, it was so cold, and that was the problem. But and I understand that this is New York and it's different and blah, blah, blah. And that's why, like, in the heat of the moment, those people could boo and say, right now you're not making your money or whatever. But the people who bailed completely and were like, this $300 million contract is going to look bad. I mean, at this rate, it's going to be a fucking bargain.
So for the people that don't, and I realize we do have probably a bunch of people who don't know what the fuck we're talking about. There was like a little Twitter spat with this guy who had a Zach Wilson is good shirt. We have shirts for sale at the We Gotta Believe store, which is pumping out fucking heat every single day. Kyle's wearing the polar bear shirt. There's the Francisco Lindor's good shirt. And an exclusive to anyone listening to this podcast and YouTube. I didn't put it on Twitter because I don't want people stealing this idea. Those little fucking snakes that like steal our shirts and then they put them in the comments like, buy them here.
What? That's so annoying. Those rats.
I imagine Dave did that. Dave was probably the guy who invented that, and they just stole it from him once we became big enough. I have Francisco Lindor's great shirts when he wins the MVP, and I'm saving those. I already have it fucking mocked up. It's already been ready, and it's just a matter of him winning that MVP. I think I got plus 2,100 on the Barstool Sportsbook on it like a week ago, so that's a little preview there. But there was a little spat between someone who would make Zach Wilson his good shirts for the Jets, and Feidelberg did it like 6 years ago for like David Price and Tuukka Rask, and then
Holy
did Al Horford.
I have no problem with the kid selling the kid. I sound like Francesa. I have no problem with him selling Zach Wilson his good shirts. Nobody invented that phrase. He can do all he wants. But when you jump in the comments with like your little ... like what do you do? Him and Jed's Twitter thought they had like they had us caught stealing.
Red-handed.
And when we had every single receipt known to man, he quickly backtracked and tweeted like, "May the best man win." I was like, "No, dude, the best man already won. It's Feidelberg. He made a boatload of money off this several times, and he's the only reason you even have this enterprise. So like, no, it's already over. I wouldn't have said a word about it if he wasn't so petty. But you can't out petty.
Mm-hmm.
You can't out petty the king. I'm Tom Petty. It's you're never gonna win that war."
So he got his hand caught in the cookie jar, which I already went to the other two here. We had the post-game live calls, which we're going to do anytime I think there's a big game, good or bad. I'll try to hop on. If anyone else wants to, we'll hop on. I think that day I was the only person available. Kev, I got to get the cookie rating right now for Cookie Carrasco after that fucking gem of a game he pitched against the Giants on Thursday.
I made my cookie rating. Now when we
it's a dangerous game you're playing right now, by the way.
It's not because I think Cookie Carrasco is back, and people were taking my cookie meter as slander towards Oreos. Oh no. What you've got to realize is that my cookie meter right now, that entire like half circle, is really only like the very, very tippy top of cookies, because I don't think we're gonna see communion wafer Carrasco again. I don't think he's going to slip below Oreos this year, Clem. This is not Oreo slander. This is cookie praise. I don't think the Cookie Carrasco meter dips below double stuff this year. I think that's how good he's going to be. I think that he's exercised the demons. I think he's got some swagger with him now. He got the first inning jitters gone. Pitching against good teams, bad teams, doesn't matter. I could maybe I'll give you single stuff Oreos. Maybe.
Okay, fair enough. Double stuff is like the gold standard for packaged cookies in my mind. So the fact that is just where you're saying that's where Cookie his worst case scenario. Which if he has a bad start, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm out on Cookie. Like Kyle said though, first, second inning, holding the breath. Let's get through this, Cookie. Let's hold hands. We'll get through this together. I hope the communion wafer never shows up again unless you're in mass on Sunday. So
something's happening. Something is happening, boys. Like everything is working out right now, and even in a small sample at the early stages, even just like this amount of time, 3 weeks or whatever, I haven't experienced this in so long. Where like I'll be honest, I still, if I'm doing a big drip meter, if I'm doing a all business Peterson meter, there's a lot more variance in those. Like I still am waiting for the other shoe to drop with those guys, and I kind of expected it, and it just doesn't. Like they just keep performing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how or why, but it just seems like these guys might actually be good. Whereas in the past, it just never goes like that. Things don't click the way it has. And I know some people, let me real quick say this. A lot of people have been like, oh yeah, you did it against the vaunted Diamondbacks, or, oh, what about the Nationals? Well, played 5 series, twice against the Diamondbacks and the Nationals, and then 2 against the Giants and the Phillies. That's a pretty balanced schedule.
Yeah, we won all of them too. That's all that matters. Like
right.
You control all you want.
Right. If it was 5 series against bad teams, then maybe we could talk. But in a Major League Baseball season, you're going to play about half good teams, half bad teams. As a matter of fact, it's probably the distribution that we have right now. 2 good, 3 bad is probably more likely. And we handled our business on all of them. We dominated the bad teams. We played well against the good teams. We've won all 5 series. What can you possibly – that's how a Major League Baseball schedule is distributed. So how can you knock that?
Have you seen how many games we're up in the NL East?
I don't like it, Phil. I need 5. I need to get up 5 fucking games right now.
We're up 5 on the Braves. We're only up 4 on the Marlins.
The power of 4, man. I'm telling you, this is what like the 4 could have been last year. Like the 4 we knew last year was smoke and mirrors. This is a legitimate 4.
This is a very different 4 feeling.
Yeah.
Like Alonso has 16 RBIs. I wouldn't necessarily call Alonso like hot right now. Like he's getting.
I think he's cold, to be honest. Like right? I don't even think he only has 3 homers. Yeah.
Yes. So, like, we're scoring this many runs. The run differential, that is the biggest out of anything you're going to look at in the standings. We're plus 32. Like, we were going on, like, an 8-game winning streak last year and getting outscored the entire time. So
when you won every single game by 1 run, your run differential was a disaster. What was that final number down the stretch? We were so good in 1-run games, and then we lost, like, 18 of 19 1-run games to close the season out. And that's where it all blew up. But
now we don't even play 1-run games. We just win by more. It's amazing.
we don't do 1-run games because we're putting up numbers left.
Friday was the 1-run game, and we're just not letting that happen again.
Right.
We've been so far ahead that Diaz had to teach himself how to pitch in non-save situations. He's like, well, I guess I'm not going to get too many opportunities this year. Right. So here we go.
Diaz has 1 save. We're 3 weeks into the season. Like, it's not even his fault.
I was going to say, since that's unfair to him, we need to come up with like Diaz saves or Mets saves where it's like, listen, your offense is too good. Yep. Your offense is just too good. I'm sorry, man. The fact that we just score runs all game as well, like we'll score in the first, we'll score in the 9th. We score runs in the 7th and the 8th. It's all of the innings you're allowed to score. I don't know if you guys knew this, but you're allowed to score runs in all 9 innings.
I love the thought of like Buck going into like the front of like the clubhouse on the whiteboard. It's like, guys, I was looking at some stuff from last year. He's like, he's just writing. He's like, you guys know you can just score whenever you want, and you can take a lead. It doesn't have to be close. We're not looking to like get ratings here for the 9th inning, this and that. And then he's just like the all bull coach, which I don't know if you guys. I was listening to the radio on Sunday, and they were saying how involved Buck was with the Diamondbacks when he came in. It was incredible. Like he was involved with the ballpark design. They said a little bit with the jerseys, the like locker room, how they were. They had the catchers separated because catchers are so competitive. You don't have those guys like next to each other. And I was like, fuck, this is a guy we just got like off the scrap heap, but almost felt
the
like
blueprint, man.
Forgot about.
He knows how to build. Like building the sport of baseball is so stupid and so fickle and so difficult that like building a winning team is like not nearly as much about on the field as other sports. You know what I mean? Basketball, you put the most talented guys out there, you're going to fucking, you'll be a title contender. Baseball is like about almost everything else, which is so annoying. But when you get a guy like Buck, who's a lifer and progressive, but old school and knows media and all that shit, he's putting everything into practice, not just like the X's and O's. I bet all that goes a much longer way. I bet whatever he's been doing with Francisco Lindor about how to be a superstar in New York has been way more valuable than like, let's take fucking ground balls and hit batting practice.
And I didn't put this in the rundown, but that just made me think of something. How much credit are we willing to give Eric Chavez in this whole situation too? Because we give Hefner a ton of credit, and like, the new guys are all contact hitters, but you can clearly see there's like a different philosophy in play.
Yeah, everybody right now, everybody's getting everything's good.
That's the offense in baseball is like way down this year. People say, like, "Oh, the ball's dead. Teams aren't scoring runs." And you watch the match, it's like, what's the deal? We have no problem.
Not over here.
We have 5 runs or more in 10 of our 17 games. I don't think we had that at all last year.
I don't think I've ever seen that, period. It's insane. It's nuts. Let me ask you a question. Do you think – I was trying to figure out why and I don't know if this is every fan base or every really involved fan base. I do genuinely believe Mets fans are more plugged in and more like passionate and wild and weird and shit. But like when you lose a game in baseball – I feel like before social media, we'd lose and I'd be like, fuck, that sucks. But like, okay. Whereas like when you lose a game now, a single game to like the Diamondbacks, it feels like the end of the world. And I don't know if that's a social media thing or an internet thing or just after all these years of losing accumulate, but I'm finally like starting to let go of that a little bit where it was like, all right, I guess maybe the difference is when you don't blow a game. Sometimes you lose, but you don't blow it in stupid fashion. Where it's like, all right, you're not going to win every single game. Sometimes the Diamondbacks just score 5 runs on you and you lose. Yeah. But I'm trying to like figure out what the difference was. Is it age? Is it technology? Is it experience? Whatever. Where it seems to almost get worse. I got more and more childlike as years went on. Whereas like every loss meant the end of the world. Is it because you have a guy like Frank jumping down your throat and everyone who is opposite of you is saying you're wrong and you have to argue or whatever it is? I don't know why. Every loss seemed to be, like the end of the fucking world. But I think I'm finally getting back to a place where that's not the case. And that's so much more healthy.
We're becoming a healthy fan base again, mentally, maybe physically, whatever it does. Like, I do think we are slowly getting there. I do think, again, like we are the darkest of the dark with the LOL Mets and the shit. You know, we've read that fucking tournament a million times. This is not a normal franchise. The closer it gets to becoming a normal franchise, the better. We don't know the Jacob deGrom MRI stuff. We'll find about that hopefully later today. And again,
I'm not thinking about that.
Just just no news. Exactly. I don't care, but it is something that's out there. But it's like anything other than something like I'm not even looking for like great news. I just don't want like the worst news. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
Ty Walker simulation game today. He should be back this weekend to pitch. And then you get like an embarrassment of riches. It's like Peterson's looked very good as lefty. And it's like, well, what do we do now?
That's what I can't like. I that's the one thing that I haven't fully bought into completely yet. Like everything else seems to be sound enough baseball from good enough players for not a huge sample, but like a long enough sample that I think you know what these guys are. I'm still waiting for like not every single starter can go 6 innings, 3 runs, right? Like it can't all be quality starts, but that's the only thing that I'm waiting for to like. I think that's going to be the first adversity we got to face.
Yep.
Like there's gonna be a turn or two through the rotation where McGill and Peterson and Bassett all get knocked around, and you're like, oh shit, wait a minute, this is what we thought we were maybe gonna have when we lost to Grom and you know we only had Scherzer. But until that happens, I guess just keep riding that fucking wave.
And I will say this too. So I've seen again. I was talking to Kyle and Phil before he hopped on, Kev, about how the Mets community. It's let me know that there are more Frank the Tanks in our fan base than I thought, because everyone's always just bitching and moaning like about the lineup. Like there's like 100 tweets. I'm like, guys, who gives a fuck? You are questioning Buck Showalter right now. Right. That's you, random Mets guy with like Mark Hanna as his profile picture, is questioning Buck Showalter. It drives me nuts. But with the pitching. I've noticed a lot of people getting upset when they take the pitchers out after like 5 2/3 or whatever, and they're not letting them go longer. And it's always been the way of baseball. As someone who just plays fantasy, I was looking at like starters, everyone around the league, guys who have like 3 ERAs, 4 1/3, 4 2/3, 5 1/3. I think especially with the way spring training was, it was kind of shortened. Yeah. I think they're kind of just easing everyone into this. And I think if you like baby these guys to begin with, you realize, hey, some of the shittier bullpen guys might like put some extra innings on their arm. We'll throw them down to AAA, bring up another fresh arm, and make it work. And then by the time May, June, July comes around, these guys start going longer. I'm 100% all right. Again, trust Buck Showalter, the guy who has forgotten more baseball than all of us combined ever knew. I think that's the way to go about it, because I know people were pissed about Saturday or about taking Peterson out early, and then the Trevor Williams game was always hanging over our heads for that game. 2 or 3 against the D-backs, you fucking take it every time. And again, we were going to recap the Diamondback series. I'll be honest, it was a West Coast swing. I was fucking like half awake the entire time watching the games, and I just cannot get up about the Arizona Diamondbacks. I can't get up about it.
I mean, they want, like, you're not going to sweep every series. Yeah, you want to sweep the worst of the worst, but Trevor Williams game is a Trevor Williams game. Like they for the most part, just like handle their business completely and totally. Like it's not like a fluke. It's not like we got lucky. It's not like we won by the skin of our teeth. We just soundly won 2 out of 3. I just, people have got to get used to the idea of being like a winning team or a competent team again. And I don't think they are.
And that Saturday bullpen game only happened because it rained on Monday. So unless Steve Cohen can control the weather with all of his billions of dollars, like we're gonna have to deal with some double headers here and there.
Dude, speaking of Steve Cohen, real quick, I was texting with Joe DeMayo this morning. Like, think about how rich we think Steve Cohen is, and Elon Musk is paying for a thing, buying a thing cash that's worth 3 Steve Cohens. That's fucking insane, man.
Cash
Absolutely insane.
home.
But anyway, like I just, I saw somebody in the Mets. I actually haven't really like dove into the Mets community thing yet, and I probably won't now that I know that. But I did see somebody tweeting me where it had the little tag of like the New York Mets community thing, and it was like 2-1 in like the 3rd. And he was like, same old Mets, just throwing games away, just punting on games in April. And it was like, we did go on to lose the game. But honestly, there was a period there where like they were coming back. They were putting runs on the board. I thought they were maybe going to complete a comeback. It's like, you're going to be behind sometimes. And that doesn't mean you're throwing away games or like, it's just the old loser way of thinking. And I don't know how many like
it's just baseball, because think about the Braves. The Braves have won a series this year. I just want to say that much.
Thank you.
And they've split versus the Reds. They've lost the home series versus the Nats. They lost the home series versus the Marlins. Like, those things happen in baseball if you're just going to focus on us. Like,
Right.
it happens to every team.
It's all
I mean,
close, but it's like getting off to a hot start really does change just like the trajectory of how everyone's going to handle the season.
Even look
Yes.
at the Mets. Look at the Mets and our fan base and the Yankees and their fan base. Virtually the same record. Yankee fans are ready to bail on this team every single fucking night. We got off to a hot start in a different manner. Same record, but it's all perspective. And that's why, like, especially with the internet, you have to keep that in mind before you get too high, too low, whatever. It's just baseball. The bullpen I was like, this is the worst bullpen ever. And then they had a stretch of like 3-4 games where they were flawless.
18 straight innings of no runs from the bullpen, and then like 3 innings on Friday night. It changed it all. But we still won the game. That's all that matters.
And that's the biggest thing. We won the game.
If we have one bullpen meltdown a week, which is what it's been so far, and we're winning that game, I'm fine with that. That's fine. Just win the fucking game.
Right.
I will admit, so I went in and out of sleep, and I missed I think it was the Walker home run off of May. I missed that. I was awake for the Dalton Varsho home run. As the banner man, as basically the guy who's the meat shield for Joe DeMayo, who's the king of the Edwin Diaz fucking hype train. I was like, motherfucker. Now listen, like, it just got out of the ballpark, and you're not going to be perfect. He's a 2.57 ERA. Like, I'll live with that. If Diaz is going to blow saves, let it be on the West Coast, because like I'll just pass out. Yeah, exactly. Hopefully at that point I've been sleeping for an hour or two. God bless the sick fucks like Kyle who went through that one stretch in 19 where it was like Dom Smith dropping the ball.
That's a young man's game.
You said that acid flashback because I could still witness the ball dropping. And I'm
Look, I would wake up for like 4 a.m. from my old job back in those days, so I don't want to remember that.
Yeah,
I must say, like, as much as I'm a purist for baseball, I'm like, this runner on second rule. Oh, every time they start him there, I'm like, at least it'll be a quick death if we lose.
Dude, no, but especially more so now that we have the ability to manufacture runs. You like giving the Mets a runner on second last year didn't mean a dick. You give the Mets bases loaded, nobody outs, it didn't mean no fucking thing. Giving Marte and Cano and McNeil and all these guys a runner on second right away, we're moving them over, we're getting them in like the majority of the time.
I said it Friday night. Sorry, Clem, but we went from Marte to Conforto. It's like, could you imagine if Conforto was in that same spot that Marte was in Friday night? Like, we're roll over to second base at the inning. Marte is busting down the line on April 20-something for a 6-5 win. Like, we're just not getting that from last year. These guys play every game,
stealing third, forcing that throw. Everything it's a game of inches, and like the Mets, in the past have like been on the wrong side of that, and now they're manufacturing those inches basically, and it's fucking unbelievable to watch. Even like the fact that Joely Rodriguez was pitching all right, it's like, what the fuck that's how dumb baseball is. It's just like this guy. You have to remember that every single reliever is a bad pitcher. Like they wanted to be a starter. They're all a failed starter, and even gone are the days of I said this I think I've said this every episode so far. There's no like good relievers anymore. They're just the best of the worst. Mm-hmm. And so everyone's going to have bad games and blown saves and shitty meltdowns because you're just throwing guys out there that all fucking suck. So it's just about having the guys who suck the least and the guys who get hot at the right time. It's all going to be a crapshoot.
We are like slowly getting to the point of this podcast where, Kev, I had to change the read in the beginning because I was like, the Mets, I'm chill with the Mets. I'm like, I had to start yelling at my kids. My AJ is why I have to, responsibly drink my Coors Lights, that kind of thing. Right. But it is getting to that point. And Phil, you said it perfectly. I know Starling Marte after the game, he said like he sees the way Nimmo busts it. He's like, that's kind of what I have to do if that guy does it. Which I know there was some Nimmo slander, and we've gotten over it. Nimmo BP, the movement is here. Yep. I was on with the Bonanza Boys, which we do like a little gambling show every Tuesday or Wednesday night. Me, Smitty, White Sox Dave, Hubs, Castellani, Carl. And Smitty goes, I just got to tell you something, Clem. I fucking hate Brandon Nimmo. He's like, he runs the first. And, Smitty's King Hardo. He would love it if that guy was wearing Phillies red, right? Yeah. And I said, I told this to the We Gotta Believe guys. He goes, you guys may not like him, but trust me. The team and the fans on the other side hate him even more. And that is the kind of shit I love from Brandon Nimmo. And I feel like every guy we have can pretty much run. That's the best part. When you throw the guy in second, it's like, oh, McNeil, he can run. McCann, even if for a catcher, can run. And that just like makes such a difference if your team's actually going to take advantage of a very important part of the game, which is running, which clearly Buck does. Lindor having a guy, a superstar that has wheels, it just feels so fucking good. As I see Wilmer Flores, and I'm like, that guy had cement shoes.
Bro, it was everything you're describing. There's just one guy that doesn't have any of the things we're describing, and it's Robinson Cano. And he is just this glaring, like the lineup is really solid as is, and I don't want to get greedy, but imagine if he was just gone and there was another Marte or Cano or just professional baseball player that we plugged in there. I mean, it's early. Baseball is long. Maybe he'll find some steroids. I think my scumbag player of the year is scumbag comeback player of the year is gone. He's just everything that's wrong. He doesn't bust it. He is slow. He in the field, he's the worst. At the plate, he's even worse than that. It's a glaring hole, man.
Can I just say that was an honorable spin zone, and like
try.
We all try it as Mets fans. We try to talk ourselves into shit. And if Cano comes out tonight and has a cork bat, God bless him. You know what I mean? Like,
what do you guys call him? King something? King?
The Washed King.
The Washed King. He's
like what LeBron was.
He's just bad.
We tried to make it a thing. It's just not happening, at least yet. So
lucky if you get one good pitch to hit per at bat, and every time he swings at it, you can just see it in his face. He's like, "God damn it, I'm out again."
He's had some brutal at bats.
Brutal.
There's failing straight back too. Like, it's one of those things where like his swing is so pretty. It brainwashes me to think eventually he'll turn that ball around at some point. I just need one good month, not even consecutive, just over the course of the 130
days.
30 days of good Robinson Cano, and I'll be like, fine, now get rid of him.
What's crazy is like, when you get old in football, forget about it. Like, you're getting pushed around. The next generation is bigger, stronger, faster. You're done. In basketball, you're slower. You're not jumping as high. You're all that. But swinging a baseball bat doesn't seem like something that should really like dip off a cliff the way that it seemingly does. Where I guess it's just like it's a game of bat speed, and you lose a tick off your swing, and you're totally fucked. But it does seem like a guy who, he went out to Seattle and steroids aside, whatever you think about that, amassed like the biggest numbers of like that decade. Like he mashed for a long fucking time, and he just can't. I mean, it's just gone now, and that's why I was always hoping that it's like, well, he's still gonna hit a couple bombs. He still knows how to swing a bat, and it's like, nope. He is done.
I have an update on the Frank deleted tweet. He just responded, so maybe he's watching this 4 minutes ago. He said, "Oh, come on. That is a game the Mets lose 100% of the time most years." And immediately someone responds, "Did they lose it this year?"
I mean, no, he's right. Best year's teams, they do lose that game. But
here's the thing. It's so bizarre. I understand where Frank is coming from, because for a long period of time, the longest period of time, I was the same sort of guy. But you can't just lock in like that and never change based on like, what is the point? We want to win the World Series eventually, right? And if there's a year where it happens and you spend the whole time acting like they're terrible, then what's even the fucking point? And the strangest thing is, for a guy like him who watches so much sports and knows everything about everything else, to not recognize the difference in these guys that we're speaking about over and over again, the Martes and the Canas and all that shit, to not get the difference. Yes, we lose that game every other year. What's different this year? Our entire team. That's what's fucking different this year. You dumb idiot. Well, yeah, you're going to get called out every time you act like this is 2010 or 2018 or whatever. Know the difference, dude.
Kevin. Again, you missed this thing. It was not that he tweeted it. It was that he deleted the tweet. We have Frank deleting tweets now.
No, I know.
He is on the ropes.
And deleted it. It's like, we're all, he's getting murdered by the Frank fact. I can't say it. Frank fact check. Kyle is just killing him. So it's like, why don't you just fucking stop, dude?
Frank is the FFC.
I don't want him to stop long term. I want him to just stop doing it.
Right. And I'll have moments for sure where I'm going to be like, fuck, this game sucks, or like, fuck Joely Rodriguez. But these tweets that are like, this is it, the Mets are going to get swept, they're about to lose 10 of 11. Like, what are you talking about, man? Shut up. I don't know how anybody. Last year was the perfect storm because it was a bad team who was winning. So there were guys like us who were like, "What? Who cares? We're still winning," kind of realizing that it's all smoke and mirrors. and there was guys like Frank who was like they're winning, but we know that they're bad. So it was like who's gonna win out, and it was like this head-to-head thing. This year, it's like no, that's not a thing anymore, guys. How can you even, if you watch one fucking series of this team, you realize that it's not like it was in the past. So just stop.
Yeah. So, all right. So I guess we'll just wrap up the Diamondbacks thing because, again, it was a West Coast swing. It was kind of like laborious to get through. Is that a fucking word? Because if it is, that was a fucking...
I was sweating on Friday night for a fucking April game. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I just dropped
laborious.
Laborious. That was an SAT word that, again, I'm pretty sure is the right way in pronunciation for it, and I use it the right way. Like we said, Trevor May, concerned about him. Lugo looking good. I'm still not 100% sold on him. And
no, you're not gonna be 100% sold on anyone in the bullpen.
Yeah.
Ever.
I honestly, I think I would have been more in on this Diamondback series if they still had those old, they talked about that on the radio too, those old teal and purple jerseys. There's like 1,000 jerseys. You can't even get like a feel for the team you're playing when your opponent is fucking shape-shifting in front of your eyes like a goddamn snake. They're changing skins. McGill, big drip looked good again. Mad Bum is a motherfucker against us, which again, that was the other thing. Everyone was all upset about the lineup and they're like, no, we have to stack the righties against this guy, hopefully get him out of here.
And got it done.
They won 6-2 final, take 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Again, that's like if Friday night goes another way, we might be feeling a whole different way this morning. I will say that Edwin, especially
of course,
but it is what it's fucking baseball.
If you blow the games and lose them, you get upset. If you win the games, you're not.
You play to win the game. That's it.
That's baseball, Susan. And speaking of that's baseball, Susan, we have to move on to this. This was another thing that was from Thursday that, again, a million things happen in the baseball season in like 3 days. It's crazy. The Gary getting caught with the hot mic saying, why are we showing Yankee highlights during the game, which I think I blogged about it and was everywhere. That's what this booth is all about. That's the reason we love these fucking guys, because they are us and we are them.
Yep.
We've got a million. I don't know if you've seen it, Kev. Kyle, I think you've seen it too. We've gotten some tweets from the same guy. Every time the Yankees are at the top of the SNY homepage, he's like, why the fuck are the Yankees even being mentioned, let alone at the top? And that's something that's been the case with SNY back when they first started and they said, get your New York sports here. It's like, no, you guys are the Mets channel. You're not the Knicks and Rangers. You are the fucking New York Mets channel. And it was a thing we had a problem with the Wilpons. Even Steve Cohen's been tweeting at the app kind of having some issues, I guess. So I think that
listen, we know Steve Cohen is going to have Cohen TV
in a year or whenever the deal is
any minute now. Not only because of all this bullshit, but because it's like a money-making fucking – I don't know what the contract is, or SNY has like rights forever or whatever. But if there's a way to get out of it or finally purchase the whole thing, he's going to do that. And when he does, like I feel like you get so much more out of being the Mets network than dive in on the Mets rather than being like surface level analysis of like the Nets and the Devils and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like just get the fucking freak shows like us and we'll watch pregame and postgame. And you know what? The other like 20 hours out of the day, no one's turning it on, but everyone will tune in on these hours and you get your money out. You know what I mean? Like just dive in the right way rather than being like, let's go get a couple
old school Sports Center where you were like middle school, high school, maybe even a little bit early college age, where you would just put that on and it would run on a reel and you would watch it all fucking day just to get hyped up about what was going to happen. Because like you said, I want to watch Mets Jets pregame fucking spring league. What are we doing here? USFL, like they're going to pick up shit like that.
When Cohen buys this, if he's smart, he'll get people like us. He'll get like new digital type people and put the right broadcasting on and dive into it right. And that's how you like build a successful network. Be on the cutting edge, be ahead of the curve, not by being like, get your New York sports here. It's stupid. You're the Mets channel. Give us Mets content. You could even do things like play classic games. But again, have people like us. If I, you sat down and if you watched the 86 game with us or some shit, and we relived it, like doing electric chairs and things like that. That's how you could build a successful network, not by trying to become New York centric.
SNY should bring beer money back, if you know what that is.
Yeah.
Kevin, what do you know about building a successful media company? What the fuck do you know about?
Even if you did beer money again, but again, with people like us and characters that you like and just give the people what they want, but do it on TV. it'll be better than what they're currently doing, which is just pissing people off and trying to be. The Yankees don't want to be on watching shit on SNY. They're not. The Yankee fans are not going to SNY. Mets fans don't want to see it. What are we fucking doing here?
And Yankee fans would probably be like, if they showed the Mets game, they'd be like, why the fuck are the Mets on
Right,
yesterday?
yeah,
This is not their domain, and we kind of hate each other, so let's call it what it is. Like, you don't just talk about the neighbor you hate in your house. Like, no, fuck that guy. We don't like that guy.
You know what's a perfect little microcosm for it? Because recently we've been tweeting with Matt Cerrone about Mets blog, right? And Mets blog was sort of the same thing. When Mets blog was an independent, just Matt Cerrone and Mets fans, it was a small operation, but it was like exactly what people wanted, and that it probably ran as a nice business that way. And then once SNY gets a hold of it, this is Mets blog now. Everything across the top: Mets, Yankees, Jets, Giants, Knicks, Nets, Rangers, Islanders, Devils. Fucking, I think that's a Yukon Husky.
Honey, I got it.
Is the Yukon Husky?
I'd imagine a Yukon Husky's on there.
That's great. I mean, so like SNY, we're already complaining about SNY, but SNY did it to Mets blog too, where it's like everyone loved the old Mets blog to the point that we were like fans of a website, the same way you're fans of Barstool. And now, like once SNY bought it, I don't blame Cerrone for cashing out and taking that check. But they turned it into a Yukon Huskies website? Like, what?
Who the fuck goes to Metsblog.com to get their Yukon Huskies? I got to meet
That's
that sick son of a bitch.
It is so illogical. I gotta get my Yukon Husky stats. Metsblog.com? What?
Me and Clem had him on last year. It was right after they discontinued the website, too, because, they killed the URL, for a moment. And he was like, they didn't even reach out to me to see, if I wanted it back. I would have, considered taking it back if they weren't going to do anything with it. Terrible.
He should fight for that back, and if he brought it back, and it was just Mets news with his spin in italics on the bottom. Meek, were you around for that? Do you?
No, I was not on Mets blog. That was more of a youth thing. I was in middle school at that point.
So if I can convey to the younger fans, and I don't know if I can, because now you just go on Twitter and you follow Jeff.
I look this generation. There was a time I can't remember what I was doing in the 2000s, where a trade happens, I'd have to go on ESPN ticker, see that, or MLB.com. Now it's Ken Rosenthal just bumped it to my phone.
Right?
I do not want to remember those days.
The 2005-06 era, I guess even 2004 offseason into 2005 into 2006. Where the Mets were wheeling and dealing, the Minaya era with Pedro and Beltran, and then trading for Delgado, and Mets blog had news and rumors on those deals every fucking day, and it was we're inching closer to a deal, and I was like, it's really gonna happen. Is it not gonna happen? I memean, it was unbelievable. And the first thing you'd see it on the ticker, you run to Mets blog to get Cerrone's opinion, and it was I almost, as much as it's great to have the whole fucking internet world at your fingertips, it was so much more fun having things like that.
That's a nostalgic thing like you, because I do not want to remember a time like that where I wouldn't get news immediately to my phone.
Something
happens, I need to know immediately.
Yeah, your brain is broken. You can't imagine a world like that. And we're all spoiled by Gary, Keith, and Ron. There's a reason why this is even we can even do a whole segment of our show on these guys, because they are just. I'm hesitant to say they're the best in baseball, because Red Sox fans say that about their team and their broadcast team, and everybody says it about their own broadcast. But I'm I just don't think anybody has the blend. And there's the reason why the new shirt's on sale. Put that up too. Gary talks stats, Ron talks pitching, Keith talks Keith. It's the perfect blend of baseball mixed with just regular entertainment and meta type entertainment. And it's its own show. It's its own reality show while you watch the game. I've always said they kind of just do a podcast while they also deliver a baseball game. That's why it's so popular.
Someone tweeted it out. It's a talk show that covers baseball during the breaks.
Right.
Shit, we should probably talk about this section on.
And when they talk about stuff during the game, it's they know what a moment what a big moment is. They won't talk over that. But if it's dead air, they'll have their stories and everything.
That's what's amazing, and I think everybody takes it for granted. Once you watch the Apple TV type broadcast, it's I don't know exactly what Gary does, but he does it right. Yeah. Where he'll just say the count, and he'll just or the way he just explains foul ball down the line, and then he's quiet, and he's quiet.
Letting the moment breathe. That's what you should be doing.
It's a big one. But there's also times where it's not even a moment. It's just regular dead air. It's a 0-0 game, top of the second. first man up, and he still has the right amount of words versus silence. And then you look at like the Yes Network, there are times where Michael Kay and company don't speak for like 3 minutes at a time. Yeah. And it's like, well, I sometimes I think that my TV's broken. And I'm like, no, but it's just those guys don't talk. So whatever the balance is, I can't tell you it. I just know that Gary, Keith, and Ron have nailed it. And that's why like you can still watch a Mets game and be even in the dark years and you're entertained because those guys convey it to you so well.
Yeah, and if you watch the league as much as I do, like like what boots are good, what boots suck. Like I think the Tigers booth is fucking terrible. Boots I like the Padres booth, the Dodgers, the Giants. That's really pretty much it, to be honest. I like those West Coast booths.
The White Sox had their
White Sox is good. No, White Sox is good.
The guys who have guys. It's all about the teams who have guys who are memorable and noticeable, like Keith is.
I used to cut all the social clips for the entire league for MLB, and like even the teams know when their booth sucks because it would be like the Guardians. They would be like, "Can you rip the radio audio?" It's like that. The booth is boring, and I'm like, yeah, like
that's all. The one problem with Gary, Keith, and Ron is that you gotta we lose Howie to radio. Yeah. It's like this thing where it's almost too good, and I wish we could get more Howie without having to sacrifice watching. They should do like some swaps throughout the year. Gary does radio again. Back when it was Gary and Howie on the radio, it was fucking bananas, man.
Oh, that sounds like a super team now when you think about it.
Oh, it was unfucking believable. And the radio guys are great now still, but Howie
they used to have Burkhardt in the field.
Right.
Kevin Burkhardt,
number one guy on Fox NFL. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, handsome Kevin, shout out, you fucking jinx motherfucker though. Because as soon as he came in, they didn't, and then they leave. They go to the World Series. I love Kevin, but just a tough look all around. So Gary saying that about the Yankees again. He speaks us. He is us. That's why we love him. Keith and Ron are obviously beloved guys. Keith is fucking batshit crazy, and he's only going to get crazier as he gets older. He also like. He's problematic. He's not as problematic as he used to be. The shit he said 10 years ago, he'd get fired instantly for today, right?
He's been great about adapting because he's a guy who he's keeping some thoughts to himself.
I mean, they were in Arizona. There's no way you go there and you don't think of like the hot dog moment where he's like, talking about the hot dog.
Dude, so when in San Diego, when he was like, "There's a woman in the dugout," unbelievable. He was like appalled, and he kept saying. Now, you'd be so fun.
He's your drunk uncle at Thanksgiving where you're like, please stop talking.
Yeah, I saw someone say he was like giggling at the "Let's Go Brandon" chance. I'm like, Keith, stop this shit right fucking now, because once you get to the political spectrum, that shit is no bueno. And then the other thing was obviously with the Yankees stuff. Kev wrote the blog on the Yankees fans throwing trash on the field, the gabagool, the fucking pussy sign, all that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff you want to interrupt my Mets broadcast to show Yankees fans acting like savages, which again. They're 10-6 for all the shit about how the Yankees have sucked this year. They've actually been they're like one game behind us.
That's why they're so fucking annoying. They're an entire fan base of Frank the Tanks.
Yeah. And I do think that these fucking savages in the outfield are the reason that they're coming back. We have to get these guys. We have to shame them and bring back the nerdy Yankee fans that won't say anything. Cause I think they might be the reason that they're getting back.
That's what's so crazy. I don't understand Philly fans forever and Yankee fans right now. If right now the Mets were like jawing in a player's face and throwing garbage at them, and the rest of the league was like, "You guys are so classless," I'd be like, "You're motherfucking right. We are garbage people. We are cavemen. You come to Citi Field, we might abuse you physically, mentally, emotionally. That's what we fucking do.
Bring you to the chop shop. There's only one open, but we'll bring you to that one.
Yeah. Well, I'll take
sell you for parts.
Right now, we'll sell your fucking body parts, okay?" Because that, like, who fucking cares? Everyone's, a couple fans don't represent an entire fan base. No fucking kidding, you assholes. There's no way there's millions of Yankee fans and you're all degenerates. But obviously you have this reputation of being these filthy New York scumbags. And I will be honest, it's a tick higher than every other fan base out there. Anytime you put the cameras on the crowd in Yankee games, they're all fucking disgusting. So lean into that. Be like, yeah, we are fucking degenerates. We are the Bronx. We're the Bronx Zoo. All that shit. Instead, it's like, oh, what about the time the Mets threw a beer on Aaron Judge? Like, yeah, we're fucking scumbags too. Lean into it, you idiots. They don't have to do anything right.
Yeah, and because then when like those moments happen, like that fight that happened last year, then Lindor hit the 3rd home run, and the guys were in the dugouts with the flag. That's fucking awesome. And those moments, like you need to kind of scale up to those moments, which unfortunately is going to be some stupid shit, like throwing shit on the field. That was just lame. I thought it was lame to trash your own field, but and like throwing shit at a guy that got hurt.
But you know what? Even that, it is. But like, if it happened to us, I'd be like, yeah, man, we trash you when we win. Like, imagine when we lose. We are fucking badass. You know, play the part. Because who cares?
Sterling was clutching his pearls too. I saw after they won. He's like, "Oh, the Yankee fans, this isn't."
What yeah. That's not Yankee fans. Yes, it fucking is, John. Both fan bases are comprised of millions of New Yorkers. Walk around the streets of New York. Everyone's a fucking degenerate. Of course, there's a lot of scumbags who are rooting in the building. I don't understand why anybody. I don't care about anybody other than like these 4 fans right here. There's a bunch of fucking dorks, Long Island dorks, who are rooting for the Mets. So be it. There's a bunch of Queens degenerates. So be it. What? I don't. You know, you're not responsible for anybody else.
And then the other part of it, just again, we'll wrap up the Yankee talk here. The Garrett Cole video. What do we think about this? Do we think it's a bunch of bullshit where he's like wiping his ass? He's
that's just bullshit. It's
damn it, Phil, I was trying to,
No, I'm not getting into this at all.
These motherfuckers.
I'm not fake newsing at all. It's bullshit. I'm not falling for that.
Okay,
let him have his day.
I have two Yankee conspiracy theories. Number 1, I think that they have made such a big deal out of the letter on purpose because we're all expecting it to be like the Yankees injected every single player with Prima Bolin before every season. And when it turns out that they like kind of had a system to steal signs, we're going to be like, oh, that was it. It's almost like, remember when Darren Rovell was excited for the Redskins news?
Oh, yeah.
And it was bad news, but it wasn't like horrible news. So it almost like downplayed it. I think the Yankees have strategically actually done that with this letter on purpose, because to say this will cause irreparable damage and harm to our reputation is like, I'm expecting the absolute worst. And I think they're actually being kind of slick on this one. My second conspiracy theory, I think they intentionally went out and got Josh Donaldson because they know that Garrett Cole and him beef, and Donaldson's been playing so well. And when he becomes a big part of this team, there's going to be like a beef between those two. And there'll be the way that they're able to unload Cole, because they'll be like, we got to keep Donaldson happy. So we got to just we'll pay his contract and get rid of this motherfucker. And that's why they brought him in. Because otherwise, why would you?
That's a classic like WFAN caller take, right?
I like this. Yeah, conspiracy Kevin.
$36 million a year guy for the next 10 years, and you bring in the one guy who was like, you're a fraud and I'm going to prove it. Yeah. I think the only way you could be doing that is if you want to get rid of that $36 million a year guy.
Where's the foil hat? Put the foil hat on for this fucking segment. Do you have that in the studio?
I think those are both rational takes as far as I'm concerned.
All right. So enough of those fucking guys who, again, keep winning over there. Like, I didn't realize they were that good. And I was looking at the standings. I was like, ooh, 10-6. That's
right. I mean, they're a game back from the best in the league, and you still got everyone crying. They're the worst.
It's crazy. The absolute worst. The absolute best, however, we got a new singer coming on. We're calling it the Blue Mountain Boys. So like we said, Coors Light, the beer that's made to chill. We have to give respect to the bullpen. A little bit of respect to the bullpen. We've had a pretty goddamn good run for Mets bullpen so far. So my idea was we're going to put boys, if you're a reliever that we feel like you can chill when you're in the game, you kind of settle us down, we're going to put you into the Blue Mountain Boys. Now, I don't know if we induct them. I don't know. Can you go in and then out? How do you guys want to work this? Do you go in the Blue Mountain group and you then leave whenever you fucking blow up? Or do you say, all right, once you're in for good?
I think you can't be in for good.
Yeah, there's no such thing as in for good on
the bullpen.
Bullpen.
Mariano Rivera is the bullpen boy then for like his whole career. That's it. Okay, fair enough. So bullpen boys. Everyone nominate a bullpen boy. I'm going to start off because I basically made this for this guy. And I went back in the fucking receipts, talking about receipts, pulled him because I knew I liked him at some point. My guy, Drew Smith. He's my fucking guy. He was my guy back in 2020, I think. I fucking love it. Oh, look at this. We even got my guy. Look at Paz. He got a fucking fresh graphic for us on the YouTube for this, too. Those blue mountains, the Rocky Mountains are blue as fuck. And I'll tell you, my soul is chilling when Drew Smith comes in the game. Hasn't allowed a run this year. I don't like saying this before a fucking game against the goddamn Cardinals where it's like Drew Smith's going to come in the fucking 8th inning. But I'm telling you, when I say they're going to flip-flop that bullpen, I think Drew Smith is going to be at the end of the games instead of earlier in the innings, late in the game. So Drew Smith, welcome to the Blue Mountain Boys. Put a patch on his jersey.
I think he's the only one right now that you can absolutely give a Blue Mountain Boys rating to. So you're cheating by
yes,
this, so you
correct.
Get the only guy in there.
Correct. I did that on purpose.
I respect it. I respect it for sure. All right. I mean, I'm gonna look here.
Hey, there are some guys out there that aren't terrible.
I mean, I like Jason Shreve, but he's been really under the radar.
Yeah,
he can be my Blue Mountain boy.
I was gonna say all right, you're gonna take him?
I'll take Jason Shreve. Dibs.
All right. I'm gonna I mean, is Diaz available for this?
Of course.
Yeah.
Are you like, are those mountains? How blue are those mountains? Are they silver? Are they blue? Are they purple? Like, I'm saying purple when Drew Smith comes in the game for me. They're so fucking cold.
No. I mean, Diaz is not purple. He's like periwinkle. He's like that weird. I would say if we're looking on the side of the screen here, like he is. Wait, where is it? He's like one red stick above my finger.
He's about halfway up the meter.
Yeah, he's one more above halfway into it. Yes, right there, Kyle. He's that one. That's Diaz for me. Where and usually you know what? Actually, no. I will put him at the middle because usually I know within one pitch whether he is Gray Mountains or Blue Mountains. It's like if it's a first pitch strike, we're all good. If he gets the first batter out, like he blows him away, we're fine. It's usually when he loses the plate and then he's got a nibble and then he tries to groove one over and it gets fucking knocked out of the park. But the closest thing I've got to blue right now, aside from those who have been taken, I think is Edwin, which is crazy. It shows growth, Clem. Shows growth.
Shows growth. That's right.
I'm ready to hop back on with Lugo after this.
Ooh, all right.
His off speed was his problem, and like now he's leading with it, and like he's putting the batters on their heels. I think that it's going to be a much smoother ride here on out. I don't know if he should be the 8th inning guy though, because I do feel like Drew Smith is like building that bridge. Like Drew Smith's bridge is the 8th, not the 7th anymore.
If those 4 guys right there can pitch, if you can have Jason Shreve early, you have Lugo like after him, and then you have 8 and 9. Like you try to have an 8-9 as Smith Diaz. Like
we didn't even mention Trevor May either, and like if he picks things up, I'm just saying he's not there yet. He's very warm right now, but like if he ever gets cold, like yeah.
I like Lugo earlier now because he has like that starter DNA where like if Buck is going to be this guy that's going to put them on the bench and then come back out for another inning, you use him here. Yeah,
May's never been that guy, and Buck's like trying to experiment with that. Hopefully, he figures out that maybe you can't do that with Trevor May up down. He's just a 3-out guy, but we'll see.
Who do you think is piss warm Silver Mountains right now?
I have mine easily.
Let's hear it, Kyle.
Sean Reed Foley.
Yeah. Fawn Sholey Reed.
Fawn Sholey Reed is like the beer. Fawn Sholey Reed is the beer you drink when you're in like 8th grade and you're just like, what you take whatever you can get. So it's steaming hot skunked beer. Yep. That's Fawn Sholey Reed. It's unreal.
Yeah. But you know what? Every bullpen needs that guy. So it's like, again, I like him in games that are not close. I want him in games where the game has been decided and we're all just going to start putting
I want to like him because he's got that Turk Wendell like persona where I'm like, I love the mustache. I love that he comes from the stretch and like that weird motion. I'm like, just throw the ball over the plate. That's his biggest problem. If he locates, he's still a pretty good pitcher from last year.
And who do we think has the most from silver to blue potential? Like bad right now, but could settle in and become a Blue Mountain boy.
So
is there hope for Adam Ottavino?
That's who I'm looking at right here.
Well, you know what's interesting? I don't know. He still has only given up 1 run in like 6 innings. Like he's been fine.
Wow, I would not have.
You wouldn't have guessed it. That's what I'm saying.
His whip's 1.5. His ERA is 1.5. That usually isn't the case. That's the thing.
That's not gonna last much longer.
You need one to go up and one to go down, one way or the other. Both are going to go up. So, I will say like. I subscribe to the Ottavino is good every other year. So just based on, and then plus City Field, it's just get the fucking hits under control and we'll be good. But I guess that's the only guy left, basically.
That's basically hits under control is.
Yes.
Joelly's like Castro was, where it's like his stuff's electric. He just has no fucking clue where it's going.
Yeah. Jelly leg.
And the fan base already like waxing poetic about how great Miguel Castro's like he died. People are like, oh, he was so great. He was the greatest guy. He was all right. He was all right. It's like he was better than Hansel Robles, but like kind of like
I tell you
a guy who threw out there goes hard.
A really sad story about Miguel Castro. Last year, I knew a girl who slid in his DMs, and like through like broken English, they were kind of like chatting, and it was like genuinely sad. He was kind of like, I'm in this city and like I don't really know many people. I don't have like family here. Like I don't have friends. I was like, it was a whole new look into baseball, like sports.
Yeah.
Where I was like, if you're not a superstar and you're just trying to like find your way and you're not that great and you're struggling and you don't speak the language and you don't, it was like, I was looking at these DMs being like, oh my God, like I'm never going to say a bad word about this guy again. This is fucking heartbreaking.
Did you ever see Sugar, the movie? That's kind of like the biggest takeaway I took from that. It's fucking incredible movie about a pitcher who comes in and he's awesome. And then I think he gets hurt and he like they're ordering off the menu. He just orders the pictures because he can't read and it's, or he can't, speak English. And then a lot of these guys, they just like watch up and they just play like games in the Bronx. And it's probably like all these ex-washouts who are just fucking electric that, for one reason or another. And it's like, you don't think about that kind of stuff as people are throwing fucking garbage at you in Yankee Stadium, right? It's fucking, it's craziness, man. So the bullpen boys, the induction, the original four right here, we'll just go on our fucking tombstones one day, is Drew Smith, Edwin Diaz, Chasen Shreve, and Seth Lugo. So that's a good four right there. I think we all feel pretty good saying those names. Like tonight, those four come in, I feel pretty fucking good.
I would say tweet at us, you're Blue Mountain Boys, but if you have any other Blue Mountain Boys, you're a
or an Avino.
If you're ready to say that Joely Rodriguez is a Blue Mountain pitcher, you're out of your fucking mind.
Or someone that's lights out in AAA right now, you're keeping an eye on, like not me.
No, I mean,
Adonis, whatever that guy.
Oh, Medina, he looked good.
It's a good ass name too. Again, I'm a name guy, like silly shit like that. I was kind of eyeing him up, so he's on the watch list for sure of the Blue Mountain Boys. So we'll wrap up. We'll preview so we got the cards for 3 games in St. Louis. So it's 7:45, which is nice. I feel like those used to be like 8:15 games, like that 6:45 Central. Scherz Day today. Then we got who
Bassett and then Carrasco the next 2 days. So.
I'm very happy that we got Scherzer tonight. I just feel like he's never pitching for us.
Cohen, man.
Yeah.
I just realized that I'm doing the walk on Wednesday, and that's the Mats game, and that game's gonna be fucking.
Yeah, the Steven Matz revenge game, and it's our revenge on him or Uncle Stevie's. I hope Stevie flies to that game and fucking goes right behind home plate.
In years gone by, no doubt in my mind, Steven Matz would go 8 innings, 2 hits. No runs. I'm thinking this year we're going to beat the fuck out of Steven. I think we're going to pummel him.
It's like one of those first innings where you get 4 runs on him and it's like, game over. Like, hopefully that's the case.
I really hate the Cardinals. I genuinely hate their fans. I do not like playing in St. Louis. That's the worst of the worst. That's Scherzer's hometown, right?
Yes, he went to Mizzou, so I'm going to guess that
maybe that gives him a little extra something. I do not like the Cardinals. I'm very scared of the Cardinals. It's probably PTSD from all those years ago. I don't have high hopes. I'm going into this like expecting the worst just because like sooner or later we're going to have to lose a series. Sooner or later we're going to have to lose 2 out of 3. I unfortunately think that this might be it, but I'm ready to gear up for the Phillies this weekend for Barstool at the Ballpark. Tickets available. We'll put the link out. The We Gotta Believe crew is going to be there. At least most of us. KFC Radio crew will be there. We got a few Philly comics coming by. So it's gonna be an absolute afternoon. So come through and get tickets. We'll tweet out the link. But
as of now, Max Scherzer is starting that game as well. That's the probable.
It's probably not gonna be Max though.
Come on.
As of right now, Jacob deGrom is pitching that game. All right, Jesus Christ.
This guy, who gave him the Barstool fucking crash course here? Who gave him his orientation here?
Come on.
Always be selling, Phil.
Yeah, always be selling. We got bald on live shirts for trying to.
Max Scherzer may be starting. He is probable.
There you go.
I slapped my table so hard I unplugged my cord.
It doesn't matter if Scherzer's playing or pitching or not, even though it'd be nice because
we have an ace every time we're on the mound. Remember that.
You get a ticket to the game. You get unlimited beer for 3 hours until the 7th or whatever comes first. You get, I think, $18 card where I think you could maybe take it anywhere in the ballpark, depending on what you want to eat. And you get to just fucking hang out, shoot the shit with a bunch of fellow like-minded fans, us idiots as well, as well as the crew. Which I hope we're going to have crews now coming to all these games because it started out a couple years ago before Corona hit in 19. I remember we had like just people, Large came, Kate came, a former baseball writer who no longer works here came. We had like good crew of people. I hope we can get that going again now that like the world is starting to get normal again. So Barstool the Ballpark on Saturday. Get your fucking merch. The merch has been off.
Oh, the merch is on fire. The MJ Zendaya, the Mets. I think the Mets are going to go all the way this year. Fucking great. The brown hoodie that Kyle's rocking is probably the best piece of merch we've ever put out. I mean,
I just put in another request for sales. It's got to get cleared with the union, but it's going to be good if it does.
We got a lot coming, so keep it coming, keep buying, keep supporting. See us at Barstool the Ballpark. Continue to believe.
Gotta believe.
Gotta believe.